Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I am going to share about 40 plus frequently asked SV interview questions that are commonly seen in technical interviews. So if you have an upcoming interview, make sure to watch this video till the end. You will likely find many of your actual interview questions covered right here. So without any delay, let's get started. So these are my details. My name is Kittu Patel, and if you have any query, so you can contact me on this number, and also you can drop a mail on this mail ID. So let's start the video. Now our first question is, what is the difference between wire and range? So this is the basic interview question which was generally asked in your all the interviews. So what are the basic difference? So your wire is generally used to connect all over the components driven by assign or modules. So what does it mean to share? So suppose you have continuous assignment. So in that case, you have to use wire. Just like suppose you have written assign statement, assign A is equal to V. So in that case, like you are continuously driving your B to A, we have to write wire. So the default value of your wire is Z and it's an 4-state data type. Let me give you the introduction about 2-state and 4-state data type. So see, 2-state data type and 4-state data type which was there in System Verilog. So 2-state data type like bit and then byte, these all are 2-state data type. Whereas 4-state data type like reg, wire, logic, these all are 4-state data type. So keep this in mind. 2-state data type only support 0 and 1 value, whereas your 4-state data type support 0, 1, X and Z. Okay. So these all are the supported value by 4-state data type, and these all are the supported value by 2-state data type. And the default value for your wire is Z, and the default value for your reg is X, and reg is used to store values and updated in procedural block. So whenever you are writing some procedural block, so make sure to use reg kind of data type. Okay. And it's also a 4-state data type. See, I'm going to explain each questions in detail, so it might take time to explain each concept. So keep patience and watch the video till the end, because this video is very useful and you will never found such interview questions in the entire YouTube. So just watch this video carefully. Okay. See, here I run this thing in my EDA. So here I have considered one reg A and wire B. So I am printing the default value of both this reg and wire. So here I am printing the default value of reg. Our variable A is reg type and the variable B is wire type. So here you can see the default value of reg is X and the default value of wire is Z. Okay. Now let's jump to the next question. So what is the basic difference between your blocking and non-blocking assignment in Verilog? So see, your blocking assignment executes sequentially, one after another. And also keep this in mind, your blocking assignment will execute in active region. Okay, so I hope you have the idea about event scheduler. So let me give you the little bit introduction about the event scheduler. So in event scheduler, different regions are there like active region, inactive region, and then NBA region, and then last one is postpone region. Okay, so suppose your blocking assignment was a part of active region, whereas your non-blocking assignment was a part of your NBA region. So suppose you have written something like this. Let me write this. So suppose you have written something like this: A is equal to 2, A equal to 3, and then A equal to 4. So see, this statement will execute later after this. Okay, because this is fall under the active region, so this come under the NBA region. So this statement will execute first, and after that this is your NBA region statement will execute. So this is the basic difference which you can say between a blocking and non-blocking assignment. And I have explained you the one reason which is like they fall in different region, and the another reason is blocking assignment execute sequentially, whereas your non-blocking assignment execute parallelly. Okay. Now your blocking assignment is generally used in combinational logic, whereas your non-blocking assignment was generally used in sequential logic. So I hope it is clear. Now let's see the another one. Now what is a race condition? See, this will asked in many of the interview questions. I have talked to a person who was just selected in AMD, and they have asked generate a race condition. So like what is a race condition? So whenever your multiple event update the same variable in unpredictable order. Okay. So suppose whenever your multiple event execute the same variable in unpredictable order, so it causes an inconsistent behavior, and we are using non-blocking assignment to avoid the race condition. And the another way to avoid the race condition is you can use either program block and either clocking block. So these are the main three way. So these are the main three way to avoid race condition. Okay. So how to generate race condition? So suppose here I have written one module. So I have considered one module named kit2, and then I have considered range clock and range ABC, three variable. Okay. Now I have generated one clock. Now here you can see in always block I have written A is equal to B. So here our compiler will get confused. Whatever value, which value should be updated. Here like A is equal to B means both the statement are executed in active region. So it will create some race condition. So that's how your race condition has been created, and these are the practical way to avoid the race condition. I hope it is clear. Okay. Now let's jump to the next question. Why do we need virtual interface in System Verilog? So I hope you have the idea of interface. So like your virtual interface in System Verilog is used to pass a reference of a physical interface. Like it will just point your physical interface, and like your class is a dynamic entity, whereas your interface is static entity. So to use the interface in your class, so that's why you are using the virtual interface. Okay. So your virtual interface is nothing but it is just pointing your actual interface only. Okay. But since your class is a dynamic entity and we are not able to directly integrate our interface in class because our interface is static, and that's why we are using the virtual interface. I hope it is clear. Now let's jump to the next question. So difference between fork join any and fork join none. Let me give you a simple example. Suppose we have written fork and join, and inside that we have, let's say, thread 1 and thread 2. So we have two threads. Okay. So inside the fork join we have two threads. Now let's consider another fork and join any. So inside this we have two threads, thread 1 and thread 2. Thread means nothing but some statement or some expression. Okay. And inside fork join none also we have two threads, thread 1 and thread 2. Now what happened here? Our fork join and fork join any and fork join none, three of them execute all the threads parallelly. But what happened in this case? You can get out of the fork join block only all of your thread has been executed. Only in that case you will get out of the fork join block. Okay. So this is the basic thing in fork join. Okay. So in fork join you will get out of the fork join block only if your all of the thread has been executed. Whereas in fork join any, if any of the thread has been executed, you will get out of the fork join any block. Okay. So if any of your thread, either it's T1 or T2, if any of your thread will get executed, so you will get out of the fork join any block. And in fork join none, you will not execute this two block. You will just get out of the block and execute the statement which was outside there. It just schedule for the later. Okay. It's scheduled for later. So what I mean to say, suppose here you have written some dollar display. So it will execute it first, and then after these two thread will execute. So this is the basic difference between your fork join any and fork join none. So here I have written in definition, like in fork join, all processes start simultaneously and join will wait for all the process to be completed. Whereas in fork join any, all your processes start simultaneously and join any will wait for any of your process to be completed. Okay. Now in fork join none, all processes start simultaneously and join none will not wait for any of the process so to be completed. So we can say that like fork join any is blocked due to process execution time, whereas your fork join none is not blocked due to any process. We have seen that like our fork join none is not blocked by any process. So this is the basic difference between fork join any and fork join none. I hope it is clear. If you have any doubt in your mind, so you can write this in comment. So if you have any doubt in your mind, so you can write this in comment, and you can also find this PPT in my Telegram group. I will share the link of my Telegram group in my description. So just go through that. Okay. Now let's jump to the next question. So what is the difference between new constructor and this new? Okay. So see, there are very basic difference. Here we have considered the square bracket and here we have considered the parenthesis. So just answer them this and they will throw you out from the interview. So let's see the basic difference. So here this new keyword is used to create a memory whenever you are using the dynamic array. So to allocate the memory for dynamic array, you are using this kind of new keywords. Okay. And whenever you want to create an object of some particular class, so you are using this. Okay, I hope it is clear. Whenever you want to allocate memory to dynamic array, so you are using this, and whenever you want to create a object for the particular class, so you are using this new keyword. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So like in terms of definition, we can say like in above new, like it is used to create a memory. It can also be used to resize or copy a dynamic array. And whereas your the below new is used to create an object for the class commonly known as class constructor. Okay, so let's jump to the next question. Now explain shallow copy. So what happen in shallow copy? So here, like let me give you the normal example of object assignment. So suppose you are not doing something. Suppose you have one class here kit2 and you have done k1. So suppose you have one class named kit2 and you are creating two handle of it, k1 and k2, and you have written something like this: k1 is equal to new, and then you are just assigning k2 is equal to k1. So here in that case, you are not creating a separate copy for k2. You are just pointing k2 and k1 to k1 memory. Okay, so if you are making any changes in any of this object, or you can say handle, so it will get reflected in both of these. So you are not creating a separate copy. So to overcome this, we have introduced shallow copy. So to access the behavior of shallow copy, you have to write something like this: kit2 is equal to new key1. That means you have created two separate copy k2 and k1. Okay, now if you are making any changes in k1, so it will not get reflected in k2, and if you are making any changes in k2, so it will not get reflected in k1. So here I have written one code. Suppose we have taken a class named kit2, which is my name. Okay, now inside the class we have considered one property int a, and after that we have considered one function, that is display, and we are displaying the values of a. And after that, here you can see we have taken two handle and created one object. K1 is equal to new, so we have created one object. And after that, we have assigned our K1 handle to K2. That means all our properties and methods which was there in K1 are allocating to K2 in separate memory. So whenever we are making change in K1, so it will not get reflected in K2, and whenever we are making changes in K2, so it will not get reflected in K1. So here you can see we are making change through k1 dot a is equal to 56, and after that we are displaying. So here our expected should be 56, and after that we are making changes through k2 handle. So we have make our a to 76, and after that we are displaying the k1. So we haven't make changes in k1, so the value of a will remain 56 only. So here you can see that in compiler I have simulated that code and we are getting 56 56. Okay, because we here separate copy for your k2 has been created. But if we are doing a normal object assignment, so no separate copy has been created and you will get the overridden value. Okay, आई होप तुम लोग को ये सेशन पसंद आ रहा होगा. अगर पसंद आ रहा हो तो सेशन को लाइक जरूर करना. ठीक है, एंड yeah, let's jump to the next. Now, what are the super and this keyword in System Verilog? So, see, the like super keyword is pointing your exactly the base class, or you can say immediate base class. So super keyword is generally used in your child or derived class that is referring to your class member of its immediate base class. So suppose you have one class, or you can say, let's say you have one base class, and from this base class you have derived one child class. So you from this base class you have derived one child class. So your super keyword is pointing to the class members. In class member you can say properties and method. So your super keyword will pointing the class member of your immediate base class. Whereas this keyword, so you can keep this in mind, your this keyword is only be used in non-static class method. What I mean to say, so you are not able to use whenever you are writing your method in static with static keyword. So you can only use your this keyword in non-static method. Now what is the use of this keyword? So suppose you have declared one int a, and after that you have declared one function, or you can say method, and inside that int a you have written. Okay, now you are assigning a is equal to a. So this will create some ambiguity, like the compiler may get confused which value has been assigned to a. Okay, so which is the assigning value. So here for that this dot a we have to write. So this dot a is equal to a. That means the value of a will get assigned to this. Okay, so these are the basic use of this keyword. So it will just resolve the ambiguity of your compiler when class property and argument pass to a class method and having the same name. Okay. Now let's see the another one. Now what is polymorphism and what is its advantage? So this is very much important question. You can write it very most important. Okay, so this is that much important question. So like let understand this. So polymorphism. So polymorphism कितना hard शब्द है यार. So polymorphism meaning having a many form. Okay, so whenever you have a base class and you want to invoke or you can say override your base class with your child class, so you can do using the polymorphism. It make your code more reusable and the common functionality can be kept in the base class and derived class functionality will be alone in its inherited or child class. Okay, so thus it helps to write the code more modular. Let me give you a simple idea. Suppose you have written one base class and you have one derived class. Now you want to override the method of base class with it derived class. Okay, so you can done by using polymorphism, but keep this in mind, your method name should be same in order to override the method of your parent class. Okay, so this is the common use of polymorphism. Now let's see the another one. So what is a virtual function? So virtual function or task from the base class can be overridden by a method of its child class having the same signature. What does it mean? So suppose we have to achieve polymorphism, but in normal way, if you are writing function void display and in child class also you are writing function void display, so it will not, so your parent class method will not get overridden. So if you want your parent class to be overridden, so you have to use virtual keyword. So in simple words, we can say when a child class handle is assigned to its base class, on calling a method using a base class handle, the base class method will be executed. Okay. Now on declaring method a virtual method, a base class handle can call the method of its child class. So this is the general use of your virtual function. So here I have written one code. So see, here I have written a method called function void display and that is virtual. And inside this I have written hello everyone. And after that I have written kid to child. For your kind information, I am unmarried, so I don't have any child, but this is the class. This is the child of our kid to class. Okay, so don't assume anything. I'm I'm still unmarried. So here we have kid to child extend from the kid to. Okay. Now here our method name is same. You can see this. Like in above one also we have display and in below one also we have display. So here I am displaying I am child of kid 2. Now I have taken the handle of kid to K1 and kid to child K2. Now I have allocated memory and I have created object. Now I am displaying K1 dot display K2 dot display. So our expected should be hello everyone and after that I am child of kid 2. And after that I am assigning K1 is equal to K2. That means I am overriding my handle of base class to the child class play. And after that I am invoking my K1 dot display. So here you can see first of all we have got, so here you can see first of all we get hello everyone and after that I am child of kid 2 and after that I have invoked my K1 dot display, but still I am getting I am child of kid 2 because we have overridden my parent class method with the child class. Okay, so this is the basic use of your virtual method. If you are not writing here virtual, so after assigning this also you will get only hello everyone. Okay, so it will not get overridden without using the virtual. Now let's see the another one. So what is the basic difference between ignores and illegal beans? So these are the concept from functional coverage and it is very important. So let me give you an idea of ignore beans. Let me explain with a simple example. जैसे तुम्हारी क्रश तुम्हें इग्नोर करती है ना, वैसे ही इग्नोर बीन कुछ कवर पॉइंट्स को इग्नोर करता है और यू कैन से कुछ बीन्स को इग्नोर करता है. I hope it is clear to you. Don't take it offensive. I'm just kidding. So your ignore bean is like it will just ignore the certain beans. You will not get any kind of error or fatal, you can say, whenever your ignore bean has been encountered. Whereas illegal beans are used to specify a set of value or transition that has marked as illegal. So if any illegal beans has been encountered during your simulation, so you will get runtime error, okay, for the same. So this is the basic difference between your ignore and illegal bean. So in ignore bean, it will just ignore if your value encounter, so it doesn't count in your coverage. Okay, so it doesn't count in your coverage. Whereas in illegal beans, if certain beans has been encountered which is illegal, so you will get an error. Now, what are the next question? Now let's see the another one. So what are the local and protected access qualifier? So see, this is very simple. Whenever you are making your property and method to a local, so you are not able to access it through your derived class as well as outside. So okay, so whenever you are making your method or property and you can say that class member local, so you are not able to access it through your parent, so you are not able to access from its derived class as well as from outside. Okay, you can able to access within the class only. Now what is the protected access qualifier? So by using protected, you can able to access from its derived class. You are not able to use from outside, but yeah, you are able to access from its derived class which was extended from its parents. So these are the basic difference between your local and protected access is qualifier. So suppose here you can go through this definition, like if a class member is declared as a local, so they will be available to that class alone. Okay, so the child classes will not have the access to a local class member of their parent class, whereas your protected access qualifier will have the access of their derived class in their derived class. Okay, now let's see the another one. So what is the basic difference between poses and rows? So here you can see rows in assertion. Whenever you are making an assertion and writing an assertion, so here you can see the rows. So the basic difference between them is your poses will encounter or trigger whenever your value change from 0 to 1. Okay. So your poses will trigger whenever your value change from 0 to 1, and your rows will trigger whenever your value changes from 0, x or z to 1. Okay, so in basic terms, we can say that our poses will true only when it change value from 0 to 1, whereas our rows value is evaluated to be true for any change happening across two clocking event from 0 or x or z to 1. Now let's see the another one. Now what is the basic difference between virtual and pure virtual method? So let me give you a simple thing. Here we have written much more theory, but this is not needed. See, you have to see, you are allowed to write pure virtual method in abstract class only. So what I mean by abstract class. So whenever you are making your class to be virtual, so suppose you have written virtual class, let's say kit2. So inside that only you have to write like your pure virtual function. It is not supported in normal class. Okay. Now another point is in pure virtual function, you are not going to write any implementation. It is necessary to override your pure virtual function in your derived class, and that's why we are writing it inside the abstract class, because abstract class you can't able to take an instance of abstract class. You can only override your abstract class. So that's why we are writing pure virtual method inside your abstract class, whereas virtual method may be overridden or may be not overridden. Okay, so you can keep this in mind. Your pure virtual function only be written inside the abstract class, and it should be overridden and it has no implementation, whereas in your virtual function it should have an implementation or it should not have an implementation, and it is not necessary to override your virtual function. Okay, so here I have considered one example. So here in abstract class, so see here I have written virtual class kit2, that is an abstract class, and here I have written one pure virtual function display. So here I haven't written any of the implementation, like I haven't written any statement inside the pure virtual class. This is empty because I want to like override this from my derived class. So here I have considered one derived class which is extended from our base class, and here I am overriding this. So here you can see I am overriding my virtual class and I am overriding this my pure virtual method. I am child of kit2. So this is where, so this way you can also able to use your virtual and pure virtual method effectively. Now let's see the bidirectional constraint. So what does it mean by bidirectional constraint? So bidirectional constraint are generally used to specify relation between your two or more variable or signals which are interdependent, or you can say dependent on the value of other variable. So suppose here you can see the example. Here your data ready is dependent on this. If your data valid is high and if your data is valid, only in that case your data should be ready. So here your variable data ready is dependent on this data value. So if your variable is dependent on each other, so this is called bidirectional constraint. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Now what is the basic difference between integer and int? So see, this is very simple but yet asked in many interview. So integer is your 4-state data type and int is your 2-state data type. Okay, so integer is your 4-state data type and int is your 2-state data type, and hence here the default value of integer is x and the default value of int is 0, and both are able to store 32-bit signed number. So keep this in mind. Integer is your 4-state data type and its default value is x, whereas your int is two-state data type and its default value is 0. Now, how can you establish a communication between monitor and scoreboard in System Verilog? So, like in System Verilog, you have come across the different component, and monitor and scoreboard are one of them. So, monitor and scoreboard are typically used in a verification environment, used to check like your design is behaving correctly or not. So, the monitor observe the signals from your design and generate transaction, while the scoreboard compare this transaction against your expected value and the actual value and give the result like whether it is passed or not. So let me give you a simple example. So suppose you have one monitor and you have one scoreboard. So your monitor continuously sample the values from DUT. So suppose here you have DUT. So DUT send the signal and packet to monitor. So your DUT send the packet to monitor. So it sample the packets from monitor and pass it to the scoreboard, and you have written and you have write some expected checkers in your inside your scoreboard that will compare with the actual result. If your expected result got matched with your actual result, so you can display pass, otherwise it is fail. Okay, so this is the general use of your monitor and scoreboard communication, and this communication has been established using a mailbox. Okay, now, what are pass by value and pass by reference method? So see, pass by value and pass by reference is nothing but whenever you are passing an argument by using pass by value, so you are passing a separate copy of your properties and method. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Whenever you are passing a argument by using pass by value, in that case you are just passing an copy of your actual argument. You are not passing an actual argument, and whereas in your pass by reference you are passing the actual variable, okay, in as an argument. So suppose you have passed a and b, and if you have done any changes in inside the method, but it will not get reflected whenever you are passing in by pass by value. But if you have passed a and b by pass by reference, you will get able to see the changes after the execution of your method. Okay, so these are the basic difference between your pass by value and pass by reference method. So here I have written one definition, whereas your pass by value and pass by reference are the two way of passing argument to a method. Okay, so in pass by value method, you are passing a copy of the value of the argument is passed to function, whereas in any change made to the value inside the function or method, it does not get reflected into the original value. Whereas in pass by reference, a reference to the memory location of the argument is passed to the function or method. So if you are making any changes to the value inside the function, it will get reflected in your original one. Now let's see how to make your fork join to fork join any and fork join none. So here I have considered a very important example where we are converting our fork join to fork join any and fork join none. So here you can see that. So we have taken in help of event concept. So here I have considered one module. So here we have considered one module, and after that we have considered one event. So after that we have considered one fork join block, and inside that we have written two begin end statement, and this begin end statement this begin will encounter after 1 unit of time, and this begin will encounter after 2 unit of time. And after that, outside our function block, we have written one initial begin block that is waiting for event to be triggered. So once your event even is triggered, this will get executed. So here you will get, first of all, like after 1 unit of time, fork 1, and after that fork 1 your event is triggering. So after, if your event is triggering, here this event has been exercised. So after fork 1, and after that you will get after outside fork. Okay, so here you can able to see that we are achieving the behavior of fork join any by using fork join. So this way you can able to make your fork join to fork join any. And in fork join none also we have considered one event even, and here we have considered two begin end block, and you can say here we have considered three begin end block. So here our intention was that we don't want to execute any of the statement from fork join, we just want to execute the outside statement. So here you can see I haven't written any of the statement, just here after 1 unit of time this event has been triggered, and after that this event has been triggered. Okay, after that this event has been executed. So first of all this has been executed, after that this has been executed, and after that this has been executed. So here you can see that the behavior of fork join none in by using fork join. So this way you can able to achieve fork join any from fork join and fork join none from fork join. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's jump to the next question. Now what is the difference between initial and final block? So see, this is very simple. Your initial block will start from 0 simulation time, and whereas your final block will execute at the end of the simulation. Let me show you an example. So see, here I have considered one initial begin block and one final begin block. Okay, so here I have written some statement. So first will execute at 0 simulation time, and after 1 simulation time second will execute, and after third simulation time, and after 2 second simulation time third will execute, and after that, see, right now our simulation will finish at 2 unit of time. So here our final block will execute at 2 unit of time. So here you can see that in output, here at 0 time we are getting first, at 1 time we are getting second, at 2 time we are getting third, and at 2 time our final block will get executed. So this way your final block has been executed because it will execute at the end of the simulation. Now, what is the difference between reg and logic? So keep this in mind. Here logic can able to use in either in procedural and in continuous assignment, whereas your reg is only used in your procedural assignment. So SV has introduced logic to remove the ambiguity which cause like whatever we should use in like in procedural and continuous assignment. So System Verilog has overcome with this issue. So System Verilog has introduced a new data type which is logic. So here your logic is 4-state data type and the default value is X. So the main difference you can say, like your logic signal can be used in both procedural and continuous assignment, whereas your raise signal is only used in procedural assignment. Now, what are the different type of code coverage? So see, code coverage is basically intent to your design. It will see like how much your piece of line of code has been exercised. So there are different type of code coverage like your FSM coverage, transition coverage, toggle coverage, and branch coverage, statement coverage, line coverage. So these are the various type of code coverage. Now let's see the another one. Why logic was introduced in SV? Your logic has introduced to remove the ambiguity, like what we have to use in procedural and what should we have to use in continuous. So to solve this problem, as we introduce logic, like here by using logic, you can either write procedural or continuous assignment. Okay. Now, what is the difference between rand and randc? So, your system Verilog allow us to randomize a variable inside a class using rand or randc construct. Okay. So, your rand is just randomize a variable and it might can have a repetitive value, whereas your randc doesn't have a repetitive value. It will get repetitive value only if all the values has been exercised. So here let me give you an example. So suppose you have 2 bit of variable. So the possible value is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So in your rand keyword, so it might be possible that you will get 0, 1, and after that also you will get 0. So this might be possible. But in randc, you will compulsory get like unique value. And once your whole value has been exercised, then again you will get some unique value like 3210. So this way your randc will execute. Okay. Randc doesn't have repetitive value. Now what is the difference between logic and bit? So logic is your 4-state data type, whereas your bit is a 2-state data type. So the default value for your logic is X and the default value for your bit is 0. It support 0, 1, X, Z. Okay. Now your bit support only 0 and 1. Now let's jump to the next question. So what is the difference between the clocking block and mode port? So your clocking block is generally used to model your clock and reset signal and their associated timing control signal. So it is just provide you a defining a set of timing signal as well as all their phases and signal transition. And whereas your mode port just give the direction to your signal. Okay, so keep this in mind. Mode port just give the direction to your signal. Now, what is the difference between $random and $urandom? So the main difference between $random and $urandom is $random will give you a signed integer, whereas $urandom will return an unsigned integer value. Okay, so $random will return a signed integer value, whereas your $urandom will return an unsigned integer value. Now, what are constraints? So see, it is very important to learn about the constraint because in System Verilog you are using the randomization constant. So at every time we are not going to cover each the point. So at every time we are not going to cover each point. So for that purpose we are using constraint. Okay. So System Verilog constraint are used to control your value that are randomized for variable during simulation. So constraint provide a specific way that valid a range of value for a variable as well as your any relationship or condition between your variable. Okay. Now, how to generate your array without randomization? So see, I haven't done anything. I have just generated an array and just I have shuffled my array. So you can use the method array.shuffle and you can say shuffle method to shuffle the values which was there inside the array. So right now I have value inside the array. So right now I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inside my array and I have just shuffled this value. Okay, so I have done only this to achieve randomization. Now what is an abstract class? I have already covered that. Abstract class is nothing but we are not able to take an instance of our abstract class, and also we are able to implement pure virtual method in abstract class. Here abstract class is nothing but a template that should be overridden. Okay, and you can also say abstract class is nothing but a prototype that should be overridden by their child class. Now, what is super keyword? I have already been covered that. Okay, so super keyword is pointing to your base class, or you can say immediate base class. Now, what is semaphore and in what scenario it is used? Now, what is semaphore and in what scenario it is used? So, semaphore is nothing but a built-in class in System Verilog. It is generally used for synchronization. It is like a container. So, suppose it is like a container having a fixed number of key. So, if you want to access the process, so you have that key only that. So, if you want to access this process, so if you having a key, only that time you are able to access this process. So suppose three person want to access the same resources and I have assigned key to this person, and once this person has completed the process, this will just put the key and then another one will get the key and then start the process. So this way your semaphore is used. Now, how will you approach if your code coverage is 100% but functional coverage is too low? So see, here the simple answer is that you will exercise more test cases that will cover your features. Okay, so that's how you can achieve your functional coverage. Now, Foxjoin any to Foxjoin none. So here I have achieved the behavior of Foxjoin none by using Foxjoin any. So I have done nothing, but here I have considered one empty begin end block. So first of all, this begin end block will execute it. So here nothing was there. So it will just get out of the block and display this outside the fork. And after that, the statement which was inside the block will get executed. So this way you can achieve the behavior of Foxjoin none by using Foxjoin any. Okay. Now write a constraint where a 4-bit variable should never take the value between 4 to 9. So here I have to write a constraint that our 4-bit variable, like 4-bit variable will goes from 0 to 15. But here our target is 4 to 9 has not been occurred. So here I am written just constraint. So here I have written one constraint where I am writing our data inside 4 to 9 will not get occurred. So here not means here your data inside 4 to 9 will not get occurred. Okay, so that way you can write a constraint. Now here another constraint is like that. So we have to constrain an array of 5 integers such that our sum should be 50 and each element should be unique. So one inbuilt keyword was there, unique. From this you will achieve the unique value, and here we have written array.sum. So we have utilized the sum method, so it will just consider the value inside the array whose sum is 50. So that way you can write the constraint. Okay. Now, what is a system verilog, or you can say write a system verilog constraint to randomize a two variables such that sum is even. So see, this is very simple. Sum is even means we have to take a sum and then mode to equal to 0. That means if our remainder of this sum is 0, then only we can say that our answer or our result is even. Otherwise, it is odd. Now, in System Verilog, which type of array is preferred for memory declaration and why? So, like in System Verilog, you can prefer the memory declaration in an associative array because it is more proficient in storage data type at random address location. Okay, so what I mean to say, suppose you have 512 GB of memory. That means you have multiple location and I want to access that location only. So by using associative array, you can able to do this. Now, what are system tasks? So system tasks are nothing but a predefined inbuilt function that we are using for certain tasks. That is like display we are using to display something, $time to print the real simulation time or current simulation time, whereas $finish we are using to end the simulation, and $random we are using to generate a random value of signed integer. Okay. Now, is it possible to call a function from constraint? So yeah, it is possible to call a function inside a constraint. Only restriction is that it should return a value. If your method is not returning a value, so you can't able to call that such kind of method from the constraint. Okay. So if your method is returning some value, only in that case you are able to call a function from your constraint. Okay. So this is all for our today video. We will come up with more such SV and Verilog interview question, and also we are preparing for UVM interview question. So if you have found that video useful, then do like this video and also subscribe our channel. And if you also want this PPT, so you can just go to our Telegram channel. The link was in description, so you can get it from there only. Okay. So thank you for watching this video.